This was an event at a hacker house, and I was staying there for 6 months. So let's get everyone in here.
What are you guys doing in there? What, you building some kind of computer?
Well, more of a server, center. Hello?
Stop talking immediately. Come inside. Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
What were you doing out there? Why were you talking to that person?
Because he lives next door. I was just being neighborly.
It's no one's business what we do here.
Why would anyone care what goes on in here?
Because we're not zoned for business, obviously.
Hey, stop it. Hey, turn the music down. Turn it off. We have neighbors. Look, Guilfoyle, you said that you would have all the servers up and running, and we're already a week behind. Don't you think you should be doing that instead of, getting high on the job?
I'm not getting high on the job. I'm getting high at home.
Guess what? I'm reporting you to the city inspector.
Right.
We always joke around like you just work for Silicon Valley, like you just film us and then like give them the content and then they write the show based off that. Like, did you see the last episode? Like the fifth one was like the city was crack or the neighbor was trying to report them to the city. Like that was that was pretty close to what's happening right here.
So this is Sebastian.
Sorry?
Sebastian. He's from Colombia.
So Kenji, okay. So do you guys get the idea? The copyrighted material is what? The Silicon Valley. And you shot it how? How did you get the material?
I shot it there.
You shot it off of the off the computer?
Yeah.
Okay. What are people's reactions?
Could be excessive. I mean, there could be too much of it. I don't know.
How did that come? What category? Let's just back up a second. What category do you think that's in?
Well,
Somebody said 2.
and 3 because it's there already, and if he's using that to illustrate their life, and the film is about a hacker house. But how much of a clip, is reasonable to use to reference it in general? I don't know, like, unless there was, like, was it enough to have it stop before the pool, or is there something in the film with the pool that you needed to include the pool too, or I don't know, that would be my question.
So you thought that in principle, having them watch Silicon Valley, filming what they're watching and then following it up with them commenting on it is a fair use argument. So the first question, you're fine.
Yeah.
The second question, you're having some questions. Is it too much? So how are other people reacting to this clip? Yeah.
I kind of worry, I almost want to be very, but I kind of worry about, at a certain point, I feel like I'm just watching the other thing with them. Like I'm being empathetic and watching it. So it's almost, it feels like I'm actually watching the thing that's being created for the purpose that it's being created for, which is my entertainment.
So you also have a question of how much. You have a question of, is this too much? Because you're starting to get sucked into to that other show. Okay, yeah.
I have a question about editing the thing that you're using. Because if they were actually watching it and it was a number 3 situation, where, oh, sorry.
It's not going to reach all the way.
Oh, if it was shot and it looked like they were watching it and you were in the room with it, then it would be like a clear 3 situation. But once you start to edit this TV show, then you don't have the believability that you're actually there, just in its ambient there, right? So, but I do have a bigger question about editing fair use material.
So other questions? Yeah.
It just also seemed like, just in the context of this clip anyway, that literally the amount of time spent on the piece that's being used and the amount of time being used on the subject, spent on the subjects, is maybe equal or maybe even more of the clip, which seems to really tip the balance.
So does anybody here think that Kenji is just making this whole Hacker House thing in order to give people a chance to watch Silicon Valley? No, nobody thinks that Kenji is doing that, right? So what they're all worried about is some combination, I'm guessing, of is this good filmmaking and is this exceeding the second question of fair use? Is it going to be too much because it's starting to substitute for the original purpose? It's starting to be more than you needed. Now, I've actually watched this clip several times, and I can actually make an argument for why Kenji's doing this, but I'd love to hear Kenji make an argument for why he wants all of that.
I think to get the story content, you have to see the introduction of a character, a neighbor, and then see him return to make a complaint. I had it shorter where the neighbor showed up just at the very end as a short little clip, and no one got it.
Uh-huh.
And so so that the commentary from the gentleman that I interviewed, it didn't make a lot of sense. It went by so fast. That was the comment I received.
So Kenji has already worked through an aesthetic challenge here. People couldn't make the connection between Silicon Valley, and yet you're hearing from people that they think like this might be just a little confusing about, am I watching Silicon Valley or am I watching the guys in the Hacker House? Is there a way to address this issue? Yes, Mindy.
Isn't that the point? That there isn't much difference between Silicon Valley and
So Mindy says, like, the point is like they're very similar, yeah.
Well, you could put text on screen so that you know that you're looking at, Silicon Valley, you're watching a television show, whenever that's on.
Okay, so maybe put a,
We're in his world and Doc world, and then we're in this television show world.
so put the clip that says Silicon Valley so you're clear, like, okay. Anything else people might suggest? Mhm.
With color adjustment, again, at times we inserted the TV show in the TV set itself of the period, actually.
So maybe moving back a little bit so that you can see that it's on a computer in the room. Good luck trying to refilm that, but that would be another way of signaling to people they're watching this, right? Okay.
I wondered about the residents having reactions while they were watching it outside of giggling and enjoying it. Maybe, I don't know if that was captured at all, but maybe because we see him later on talking about it, but did they talk about it in that moment?
Right, so maybe some kind of ambient sound from that moment that can ride over. Did you take any of the ambient sound from the moment out of it?
I'm sure I did.
Okay, so like including some of that ambient sound might be another little gesture to the audience that says, they're watching this, right?
Isn't it obvious that they're watching this? It's not. All right. All right. Fine.
Yeah, I think several people just had that hesitation. Yeah.
Kenji, if you don't watch the show, you're not sure if you're watching the characters or you're watching the hackers.
So there are a lot of people who maybe are not watching Silicon Valley. Good point. Good point. And your point, like you could label this the TV show, and Vivian's point, you could make clear, like by putting some kind of frame around it that it is a TV show. These are all little. You know, what Michael Donaldson would call sleepy judge moves. You know, like like really clear. We're making it really clear. And it, you know, to you as the artist, it might be like, it is totally obvious already. And the argument for going that extra mile might be like, you know, you might have somebody who's not as quick as you know, and they might have an issue. So that's one thing that people think about. So any other feedback or, okay.
I have one more thing. Yep. The only thing I can say is if you could make the argument why you wanted to make it look like it really was the actual real life. Because part of what you're trying to say is this TV show is happening in real life. And so if you could make an argument that you cut it that way so that you could make that point even more obvious, then I think we could make a fair use argument about that. It's a little bit sketchier, it's not quite as clear cut, but I think if you as the filmmaker could actually say to a judge, or your attorney could say to a judge with a straight face that this was why it was cut that way, then I think you could make an argument.
So the argument is, like, there's a parallelism here that he's really trying to reinforce by doing that. And again, labeling this show at somewhere like, you know, discreetly at the bottom, Silicon Valley might also be a way of, were there to be a dispute, making it clear, like, I knew this was Silicon Valley, you know, and this was actually what they were really watching at the time.